Last week, I got a job offer as a senior software engineer at a large, well known software company. And I'm about to turn it down. Did I go crazy? Did I lose it in the last 2.5 months? Let me tell you what happened. Hi there. My name is Maria. I'm a software engineer with over 10 years of experience. Welcome to my channel. On this channel, I talk about tech industry, my experience being employed, my experience being laid off, my experience taking a break, learning new things, and more. 2.5 months ago, I got laid off from my job as a senior software engineer at a startup, and I was panicking. I was scared. I felt a lot of uncertainty in the tech job market. I saw that the tech market is weird and people are having a hard time. Experienced engineers and new engineers are having a hard time getting a job. I was also burned out. I was very tired and I decided to take a break to rest and recover, learn new things and come back stronger than ever. That's exactly what I did. First months, I took things really slow. I rested. I spent a lot of time with my daughter. And by the end of the first month, I actually I was surprised how much better I felt in just 1 month. I allowed myself to do things that just either fun or interesting to me, kind of what Steve Jobs described as follow your bliss. I did that. If something was interesting, I would either learn it or I would like poke around, play with it. And week by week, I was kind of blown away how much energy I was gaining. I kind of forgot what it felt like to be really curious about things, how it felt to really be interested in something. I would get more energy to meet new people. I was kind of getting out of my shell. It was kind of a chain reaction. I would meet more people, get new ideas, get ideas about new projects, get new insights about things that I just didn't think about before. That's exactly what I was hoping to get out of my sabbatical. I just didn't think it's going to happen so fast. It just happened faster than I thought. It was like every day there was just these small miracles happening. Um, I was doing that. And 3 weeks ago, a recruiter reached out to me. Let me just tell you, I was not looking for a job. I was not looking at all. They told me that I actually got referred by one of my contacts from my network, which that's a reminder for you guys that network is very important. It was a large, well-known company, and they told me that they are very interested because my skills match the job perfectly. And I decided to go with through the interview process. Why did I decide to go through the interview process, you might ask, since I was doing a sabbatical? Well, to be honest, that was a great opportunity. I mean, I recognized it as a great opportunity and I don't like to miss the great opportunities. I also got genuinely interested in the job because it was a great match to my skill set. The job description it was like someone described what I do, what I'm good at. So I went through the interview process, and when I finally got offered a job, I was not that surprised, but at the same time, I was very proud of myself. I was very happy. It felt really good to be offered a job in this, again, very uncertain, weird job market. And I told them that I will think about it. And then I realized a couple of things. I thought that in 5 years, 10 years from now, in the future, if I look back at this moment, what will I regret more? Not taking this good job, doing something that I already know how to do, doing something that I'm already fairly good at, given my experience? Or will I regret more taking the job and not pursuing the projects, the ideas that I have right now, which is a big unknown. It's scary. It's exciting, but it's also basically risky because any of those projects might not work out. Another reason why I decided to interview was because interviewing is a skill on its own, the skill that needs to be practiced regularly. You can be a brilliant programmer and not be good at interviewing. And in this case, you might be missing a lot of good opportunities. Or you can be someone who is pretty mediocre at programming, but you nailed the interview process. You just became good at it. And you might be getting more jobs than you probably qualified for. So I make it a point to practice interviewing whenever possible. And this is something that I recommend doing. Let me be very clear about one thing. I have been in tech corporate industry as an employee for over 10 years. I'm very grateful to corporate tech industry. I made good money. I learned really good skills, very valuable skills. I grew as a person and I met a lot of great people on the way. Networking, money, skills. So I have absolutely no resentment or any bad feelings to corporate. And I actually, if if I allow myself to dream, I would love to work with companies, with corporate, but in a more consulting role. I spent 10 years of my tech corporate career trying different roles. I started as a web developer, then I became a tech lead of a pretty large team of people. Then I became a software engineer. Then I became a senior software engineer at a startup. And all these experiences, they were invaluable to me. They were very strategic. I was very intentional about each one of them. I guess now I feel that I'm ready for my next step. Of course, I will talk about the things I'm doing right now, about some of my projects, but I think my next step is not an employee, but perhaps a freelancer, an entrepreneur, basically doing something more than being an employee. The job that I am about to turn down, it would solve a lot of my problems. It would be a very convenient thing to do. I mean, job like this is a good money, a good benefits package. It is relative stability and relative safety. But as you can probably see, the stability and safety are relative because we all can be laid off at any moment. And the AI is changing the landscape and there's a lot of uncertainty. So you might ask,
Maria, what are you doing instead?
what are those exciting projects that you're doing? And I hope I will not confuse anyone, but I basically have two main branches that I'm focusing on. One is tech and one is wellness. I am pretty passionate about both. I am very interested in both, and I would like to pursue them kind of in parallel, like this. Meaning that I don't want to choose one. I want to try to pursue them both in different capacity in different projects. So again, two main directions. One is tech, one is wellness. And speaking about tech, again, that job that I'm about to turn down, it would obviously cover all my costs. It would be enough money. And currently, I'm not making nearly as much. But at the same time, I didn't even really start trying to make money. So I wouldn't think about this decision in terms of money right now. Because I started talking to more people and kind of getting out there, I got one project, for example, that reminded me how much I actually enjoy making websites for, I wouldn't say normal, but for real people who are not in tech, real people who need websites, who need web apps, but who are not technical, who have no experience with technology. They don't want to touch internet. They know very little about all this, but at the same time, they have a mission. They have a great product. And I forgot how much I enjoyed helping them. For example, one of my very first jobs in tech, when I just became a web developer, I was still learning. My first client was a lovely lady who was running a daycare, a small daycare. I made a website for her. And then I also made a website for another girl who was, what do you call it? Artisan popcorn. It was called Hippie Pop. And I think they became fairly successful, but it was so much joy to make websites for those people, for real people. Now, recently, I got approached with a project pretty randomly, but this is how it happens. So I was talking to my neighbor, and she knew that I was in between jobs. And she told me that there is a lady. She's a local small business owner. She has her own small organic dairy farm, and she sells high quality raw organic milk and dairy products to our local community. And she desperately needs to update her website. Now, she doesn't want to touch her website. She has absolutely no interest in any of this. She just wants to have it done. She doesn't have time. She's very busy caring for the animals, taking care of her business. Website is just not something that she has the bandwidth or any interest. At the same time, website is how people find her. Website is how she gets paid. So this is something very valuable for her. This is something that she actually really needs. I got the project, and it's not $1 million project. Of course, it's much less than I would make working for a software company, but the enjoyment I get out of it is immense. I have several other projects going on. For example, one, I'm working on a health tracking app for my wellness group where people are already waiting to try it. Two, I'm building a website for my Maria Talks Tech brand where people or companies can get a hold of me, can hire me for public speaking and stuff like that. And three, I just became a wellness consultant for a large company. And these are just a few of my projects. So, my point is, I guess, if I accept a full time job, all these projects will go away. And I just described a couple of projects that I'm doing. There's actually more. There are several income streams that I can pursue, and these are not even the most exciting ones, but this is a beginning. People often have dreams and they think that I'll do it one day. Now it's not a good time. Now I have this going on, I have that going on, and nothing happens for them. These dreams, they just get lost in everyday life, which is really sad because I think all of us have amazing dreams. If we either already have or if we reach down and we think about what we want to do, the world can definitely benefit from our gifts, from our talents. It is very sad that we don't always at least try pursuing the things that we want. So am I crazy not to take this job? Maybe. Will I regret not taking a job? Maybe. But at the same time, I think that I will regret much more not pursuing the projects and ideas that are interesting to me, that might benefit the world much more than me as an employee. And I guess the biggest risk that I'm taking here is to make a fool out of myself. And that is a risk I'm willing to take. This channel is about that. So, what do you guys think? Am I crazy not to take this job? What would you do? Please share with me in comments. By the way, when I ask you to share things in the comments, I don't really do it for some kind of algorithm or engagement. This channel is not for me to make $1 million. I genuinely care about the community that I'm creating here. I genuinely care what you have to say. So yeah, let me know what you think about any of this, and I will see you next time. Bye.